Hi, this is Dr. Shirley Caruso. Thank you for joining me. In this tutorial, you will learn how to create a storyboard using an online mind mapping tool called Bubble.us. First, let's head over to the syllabus to look at the assignment details. For assignment number 2, storyboarding, you are in charge of designing a training website, which ultimately will be your assignment number 9, for employees in an organization. In order to facilitate your design, you're going to use the online tool Bubble.us to sketch out your ideas for this website. What we already know is that our client would like us to use Prezi Next. She would like us to create an interactive training tutorial with a quiz, an online presentation using Novio, and an instructional video using Kizawa. And finally, she would like us to record a screencast using Screencast-O-Matic to show the learners how to navigate the training website. Let's head on over to Bubble.us to get started on our storyboard. I'm at Bubble.us now, and I have already created an account and logged in. What I would like to do next is start a new mind map. So I'm going to click here. And my mind map begins to populate with the first bubble. I am going to give this a title of Training Website. And I have decided that I am going to train the dog groomers. So specifically, I'm going to say that this is a training website for dog groomers. Next, according to our client's needs, she needs an informational orientation using Prezi Next. So I am going to use this plus sign here to add a child. So you'll see the relationships that we use when using this mind mapping tool are siblings or children. And I am going to call this child Prezi Next. And specifically, it is a new hire orientation. Now, there are several things that need to be included in this new hire orientation. If you look at the syllabus, you can see that you will need a minimum of 6 topics and 6 subtopics. So I am going to add 6 children to this topic here. Now this becomes a grandchild of the original bubble that I have created for the training website. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and finally 6. Those are my topics, and then for each topic, I need at least 1 subtopic. So these topics are also going to have children, at least 1. Now I need to decide what my topics are going to be and what my subtopics are going to be for the minimum of 6 topics, 6 subtopics. So I know that our client has given us a little history of the organization. She talks about job descriptions, she talks about job title. So we can use some of those topics that we have located in the case study and bring them into this new hire orientation. So you want to think about the things that new employees might want to know. They might want to know the history of the organization. They might want to know job descriptions. They might want to know salary ranges. They might want to know locations, things like that. So this is what you would populate these topics with. So I'm going to do a little history of the organization. and here I would detail the history. Now in this small bubble, you don't have to write out everything you're going to say about the history, but you want to give yourself some rough idea of what you're going to say. So I'm just going to say, I'll talk a little bit about the owner, and I'll talk about the year established. Remember, we know some things already about this organization, so we want to pull this information into this new hire orientation. Here I'm going to talk about services. Services provided. So here I can talk about dog walking and dog grooming. Here on the third topic, I might want to talk about hours of operation. And here I would detail those hours. I might want to talk about locations here, and then I would go into detail about those locations. So I'll let you think about some of the things that you might want to use to complete the new hire orientation. Remember, the minimum is 6 topics, 6 subtopics, but you can have more. Then I'm going to go back to this master bubble here, because this is my main concept here. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize this so I know that this entire mind map is talking about the training website for dog groomers and the contents that will be within that training website. So I'm also going to increase the font size so that this becomes apparent. Now, going over to the syllabus, you're going to find that after your Prezi Next assignment, the next assignment you're responsible and one of the next client needs is an interactive training tutorial using PowerPoint. So going back to this main bubble, I'm going to add a child, and I'm going to distinguish this with a new color. And this is going to be my interactive training tutorial. I know I'm going to be using PowerPoint, so I'm just going to put that in parentheses there. And I'm going to decide on a title for my interactive training tutorial. So once you determine who you are going to train for, you can look at the job descriptions for that particular occupation and decide what you're going to talk about in your training tutorial. So I'm going to say how to properly walk a dog. And this is what my PowerPoint is going to be about. And looking at the assignment details, I know that I need a title slide. So here again, I'm going to say how to properly walk a dog. I'm going to go back up here, and I know that another thing that I need is what we call a graphical user interface, abbreviated GUI, pronounced GUI for short. And I know that I need at least 10 slides of content, and the content can be divided into modules if I choose, or it could be just one module that I'm focusing my attention on. So I'm going to add Module 1, and here I'm going to talk about the leash, and then I'm going to do Module 2, And let's say here I wanted to talk about dog behavior. So those things are related to what you might want to know about walking a dog. You can go on and divide this module into more content of training if you would like. And then you know that you need at least 10 slides of content. So I'm going to decide that my module 1 is going to have 5 slides and my module 2 is going to have 5 slides. You can divide it how you see fit. So here I'm just going to say content slide 1, content slide 2. And if you would like to rough out what you think content slide 1 would consist of, you can go ahead and do that, or it could be as a rough draft as it is now, just like a placeholder for that content. I would do the same for module number 2. Another thing we know about the interactive training tutorial using PowerPoint is that eventually you come back to this assignment and you add an assessment. So I'm going to do that here. And I've decided that this is going to be a quiz, and it's going to be a multiple choice quiz. And for now, I'm just going to put a placeholder for a few questions. You will not know the amount of questions you need until you develop the content. So the amount of quiz questions that you have are related back to how much content you covered. So for now, I'm just going to put a placeholder for a few questions. I can come back and I can add to my storyboard at any time. Okay, I'm going to go back to the very main topic here because I know that in a future assignment, I also need to do an informational presentation using Novio. So I'm going to add a bubble here. I don't want it to be the same color as a previous assignment, so I'm going to change the bubble color here. And this is going to be my Novio. And here I am going to talk about food and water for dogs. You might want to talk about something else. And I am going to look at the assignment details. I can see that I need a title slide and I need at least 2 content slides. And the content you would decide upon, you don't have to decide upon it now, but you need placeholders for this information so that you have everything sketched out for your training website. I'm going to go back to the main bubble because I need another child bubble. I'm going to move it over here so it is away from a previous assignment. You can see that the relationship to the main bubble is that these are all separate assignments. So you're going to have to look at the syllabus to see what those assignments are and what the details for those assignments are. I'd like to use a different color. And I know that I need an instructional video. I know that I'm using Kizawa for this, and I would like to give it some kind of title, so you will have to determine what you are going to record your video on. This assignment also gets you thinking about the various media that we're using and which media would be most appropriate for the content that you would like to relay. So for this assignment, I am just going to put a placeholder for content. Lastly, I will need to record a screencast that will show the learners that come to my website how to navigate the website. So I'm going to add another child. I am going to change the color. And I am going to move this away from all of the other assignments. This is going to be my screencast, and I'm using Screencast-O-Matic. Going to add a child bubble here, and the content of this is going to be how to navigate the training website. So you can see in this storyboard, although I have not completed all of the details, you will. It is represented by the main bubble, which is your website. It contains information for your Prezi Next assignment, your interactive training tutorial using PowerPoint, the assessment for that tutorial, the Novio, the instructional video using Kizawa, and finally the screencast using Screencast-O-Matic. So the key to this assignment is rough out some detail about what you are going to include in the training website and what you're going to include for each of the projects that are assigned. I hope this tutorial has been helpful. In a future video, I will show you how to share this completed storyboard with me. Thank you again. My name is Dr. Caruso.